Okay, it's Esther time. We are, if you have your Bible with me, please turn it to Esther chapter 8. We have 8, 9, and 10. And just read it. So it's fresh and new, so bear with me. This is where I want your comments, raise your hand, live interaction. If you're watching this later than the actual posting, in the live feed, by all means, send your questions, and I probably will not know the answer, so I promise to do the research and really to rely on God to help me supply responses. But the responses will come from here, not here. So let's finish it up. So essentially, and I have this great diagram I found online, and if you want it, then just email me. And I will be happy to share the diagram with you. I'm a visual person, a visual learner, so I like diagrams. Okay, so in the diagram, it divided hard times in Esther, chapter 1 through 7, and then happy times in Esther, 8 through 10. So, yeah, we're finishing up the 8 through 10. Excuse me, still got that introduction from Esther. So let's see where we're going. Now, where we came from, Haman was just hung. Haman was hung. Or hanged. Yes. From the gallows that he built to hang Mordecai. Like, what? God is just works in everything. So chapter 8, we now see that the king gave Esther rule over the house of Haman, which is a powerful home because he used to be the second to the king. And he had 10 sons and wealth and and then Esther in turn gave it to Mordecai. And King Xerxes, number 1, having realized in the chapter before that Mordecai had saved his life by telling him of a conspiracy years before to murder him, he made that known to the king. And so, of course, the conspiracy to murder him did not come to pass. In other words, saving his life. So number 1, he has that respect for Mordecai. Then, chapter 8, Esther made known to him the relationship she had to Mordecai, which he was by blood her uncle, but raised her because she was an orphan. Her mother and father died. He was the brother of her father, and so he raised her like his daughter. That was the only parent that she knew. And so, again, second reason why the king is now elated to know Mordecai. And remember, the Jew in Persia. And Persia at the time, most large and great and powerful territory, country, and of the entire earth. And the Jews, of course, had been exiled there years and years before by Nebuchadnezzar. So, again, we keep seeing the theme that Jews are never in their land. They're always in a place where they're sojourning. In other words, and back then, land was money, right? Ownership of land. And so even the promised land, the land promised all the way back to Abraham, that was the land of the Canaanites and the Moabites and some other ites that were huge, Ammonites, and God promised them that land. So what's so interesting about that is, I think that's key for us to realize this is not our home. I am a citizen of the United States, and I'm proud to be. All-American. Now, however, this is not my land. This is not my home. My home is heaven. This world, who is the prince of the world? He doesn't even deserve that title. But Satan. I don't want to belong to the world. I'm not ruled by Satan, because why? Jesus won that victory 2,000 years ago. So we're not part of this world. We are sojourning. in this world for a short time until we go to be with him later. So I think that that's key, and keep that in mind as we continue to read where the Jews are on their journey, and and all the way, land and what's obviously not there, and the Bible makes it clear it's not there. It's not theirs. Excuse me. So here we are back again, and essentially, of course, now the king, remember those 2 points of why the king at this time now really respects and loves Mordecai, the Jew, the sojourner, the foreigner, the exiled, right? He's now raised him up to be right beneath him. And that's because he saved his life from the conspiracy to kill him years before. And then Esther has just made known to him that is her beloved, essentially, father, raiser, by blood uncle, but the man that raised her to be who she was. So, and in turn, now the king knows that Esther's Jewish. And God laid it on his heart to find favor in her chapters before. And she didn't make it known that she was Jewish when she went to this countrywide beauty contest. So, that's my pageant wave. Or royal wave. I get them mixed up. Anyway, either of which I am close to. So, he came and Esther asked him again, and he pardoned her life again, because he found favor with her again. Esther said, my petition now is that you reverse Haman's decree. And Haman's decree was to have all the Jewish people in all the 127 provinces of Persia destroyed, annihilated, executed from the earth on the 13th day of the 12th month. So how did the king, and technically it was Mordecai who had this decree written with Esther, but the king allowed him to say it was from the king, and he even gave Mordecai his signet ring, which is how he placed his seal. So the decree to reverse this, and here's God again, and the genius that only God can interweave. The new decree, and we can call it Mordecai's decree, was, that's my very happy clock. I love it. Anyway, it sounds like the ice cream truck, which even makes it more interesting and fun. What song is going to play today? Hey Jude. Side note, I have adult ADHD, and so I squirrel a lot, and I commit to you that I will not squirrel, and because I want this time to be tight and efficient. So here we go, my beloved, darling friends. So the new decree of Mordecai says this. On the 13th day of the 12th month, remember that was the day that the decree had already been sent out to slaughter the Jews. This decree came after it to all of the provinces and all of the chief rulers and governors and princes of the provinces that said, on the 13th day of the 12th month, that same day, the Jews of all the provinces may slay anyone who tries to harm them, kill them, etc. And that decree was sent out the 3rd month of the year. So they had 9 months to grow the fear of God in them. And not fear. Remember, fear of God is not, ooh, I don't want to come near. It's respect. It's a reverential fear. And so at that time, many people converted to Judaism in Persia. What? So crazy. And I think, and I know that God's not mentioned here, but I really believe it's because they saw the sovereignty of the Jews' God in everything. That that was coming to pass. So many people converted. And then on that day, the 13th day in the 12th month, they defended themselves. And in the whole in all the provinces, 127 provinces, over 75,000 enemies were slain in that one day. But here's what's really cool. In the decree of Mordecai, it allowed them to take the spoils of all those who they had slain, their riches, their homes, their wives. And the Jews didn't take one thing. I just want you to meditate on that, because I need to, because there is sovereignty there. They defended themselves, not to the point of greed. So this happened, and in Susa, which was the capital where the kingdom was, where the king and his, essentially his court, his kingdom, where he lived, with Esther, on the 14th day of the 12th month, in Susa alone, 500 men were slaughtered. And Esther came back after that day and said, "Please, king, let there be one more day." And so the king, of course, said, "I grant that." And so in Susa alone, the Jews of Susa were but they continued to defend themselves into the 15th day. And so now we come to a very important feast of Jewish tradition, which takes place on the 14th and 15th days of the 12th month, which is now called Purim. And Pur, if you remember, was the casting of lot. And in my Amplified Bible, which I love the Amplified, Pur, it says that is the lot to find a lucky day. Lucky? The day is lucky when you're gonna murder thousands? Interesting. So the Jews call it Purim now, as the Feast of Purim, because they don't say it here. Remember, no God in prayer. But God saved them. Again. There's no end to His grace. You have to know that. His mercy endures forever. Trust me, I've turned my back on God more in my life than I've come to Him. And a lot of times I didn't want to come to Him anymore because I was ashamed. I was like, really? Like, people in my family can't even forgive me for the disgusting things I have done. And I understand that. So why should God? I have deliberately turned away from Him and rebelled against Him and transgressed Him. But He's there with open arms and He's holding me. He's holding you. I just need you to know that. So, Purim, the feast, on the 14th and 15th days, still held by the Jews, is a very important feast and gathering and holiday. 14th, 15th day of the 12th month is called Purim. And essentially those were the days of rest after the Jews defended themselves against their enemies in Persia, from what was decreed from Haman before his death. And the reason it's the 14th and the 15th is because for all the provinces except the capital of Susa, the 14th, they only defended themselves on the 13th day, as was written in Mordecai's decree. But on the 14th day, they rested and they rejoiced and they feasted. And here's what's really neat. It says, when they feast, and this is for all the descendants and what they do, they keep these 2 days, they remember them. But even in those remembrances of a holiday, they give to the poor. So that's another thing I want you to meditate on. When the holidays are coming up, and we're buying gifts, and for me, like, we probably can't afford them, but I just like being a gift giver, and I've always got to, God's convicting me on that this year to say, are you trying to get the best gift to win approval of others? to the point of being in debt. Conviction, right? But I want you to think about that as our holidays come to pass. Are we giving to our communities? It's like tithing. Are we giving to show God that it's not ours, that we believe and we know what we have is not ours, and that multiple times it is said that, and the verse I'm memorizing this week is D. I've been A, B, C, D. D, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Matthew, I'm going to get this without looking, Matthew 7:12. We need to take care of our communities and our surroundings, because that is how God can really work through us. So that was the number 2 thing to meditate on before we come back together. And then, so we talk about Purim, and it just, it's on the 14th day. And the reason it was on the 15th day is because in Susa, the Jews actually slaughtered on the 13th and 14th day. So their day of rest was the 15th day of the 12th month. Okay. Any questions again? Hit me up at the bottom or top. I don't know how it shows up on YouTube, so just comment and ask questions and I'll get back to it. The final chapter is very short. It's just 3 verses, chapter 10. And essentially it is saying that Mordecai became very famous and great, and people respected him. And here's what I underlined and highlighted and bolded. For he sought the welfare of his people. We just spoke about that. Taking care of others. And spoke peace to the whole race. Brothers and sisters, it is incremental in this time of confusion in our country. And if you're watching from somewhere else, you're confused because what's happening to you in COVID and an election year and people being pulled apart and what seems like division and is division. We need to speak peace among all races. Please do that today. Give yourself a goal. If you're at the grocery store, if you are running errands, walking in the neighborhood, hey, roll down your window if you're like me. I mean, I scare a lot of people, but just a little and intrusive. Smile. Smile at someone that doesn't look like you. Whether that's different skin, different hair color, different eye color, older, younger, someone that does not look like you. Smile. Share that peace. And I'm telling you, with a mask, people can still see a smile if it's genuine, because it's showing through your eyes. And for me, with my crow's feet, that helps out because, when I smile, you see this, So if my mouth was covered, it's like, sorry, I just look really scary, but see how that's a smile? And that's, I'm trying to get my own stuff done. It's my world, and you live in it, and get out my way. Or peace. See? Something to love. Your beautiful experience lines is what I'll call them. My experience written on my face. Awesome. Love it. And if you want to take it a step further, speak peace. How are you today? And when you say it, I challenge you to want to know the answer. In America, we'll say, hi, how are you? And just keep walking. Hello, you asked a question. So if you just keep walking, you're telling them, I really don't give a crap how you feel or how you are. But why don't you say, hi, how are you today? and wait and let God work. Okay. That's Esther. Tomorrow we start Job, spelled like job, but it's Job, which I've never read. So we're going to do it together. And I need your support and your prayer and your guidance. And I need you. Yes, you. I'm talking to people and I need you too, Saban. I need you to share insight, to share your knowledge, to share your experience. I'm messy, people. I will never have it all together. Apart from Him, I am nothing. Apart from God, you are nothing. Let that be a self-esteem booster and not a victimization. Oh, I'm nothing. What do you mean I'm nothing? I already feel like I'm nothing. This world tells me I'm nothing. Boo, I have lived in that valley long enough. Apart from God, I am nothing. But because of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I have relationship with the God who created the heavens and the earth. Oh my gosh. And because of Jesus, I'm not apart from Him. He is with me. Again, here's memory verse. Sorry, it's my B verse. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, which I know is hard. Do not be discouraged. I also know is very hard. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord is with you wherever you go. I pray that God was able to reach someone through this today, because it wasn't me. None of this is in my own doing. I'm just a messy, middle-aged gal, unemployed, broken, and I just want to be a vessel for Him. So if you got anything from this, all glory goes to God, and I thank Him for that. God, just thank you for this morning time with you, that just when we really give time to you in the morning, it really sets our perspective, and I like to call it God goggles. We're wearing God goggles to see the world more as you see it and not our fleshy, sinful selves. God, I pray that you will use this, my messy ministry, your ministry through my messiness, if it just connects one soul out of 10 billion in the world. Thank you. I love you, God. Let's begin our amazing day. Take Him with you, because He's not going anywhere. It's a choice that you invite Him. If that is new to you, reach out to me. The battle has been won. So reach out to me if you want to talk a little more. If you have no belief in God, and maybe you're saying there's no way there's a God, especially with the world right now, reach out to me. I do not have enough biblical knowledge. I don't have a doctorate to argue with you. And know that that's not what I'm doing. I'm not trying to sell miracle water here for $1. I just want people to know the freedom. It took me 34 years to fully surrender. But that freedom, that everlasting God peace that the world cannot give. I love you. I really do. Whoever you are, I love you. But that doesn't matter. You are loved by the Creator of the heavens and the earth. Till tomorrow morning, enjoy the day. Love you all.